Hello everyone, so this is going to be the last AWS tutorial for now, but we're going to show you how you can just use AWS to do the whole process rather than using the desktop app. The reason you may want to do this is because the desktop app is limited on file size. If you're uploading gigs and gigs upon gigs of file size movies and you want to encode them, then we definitely suggest you use the whole AWS service to do this. So because we're going to use AWS, we're not encoding the files from our desktop, we're encoding the files in AWS, if that makes sense, in an S3 bucket. So we're going to have a storage bucket, which is essentially like the desktop, and then we're going to have a delivery bucket, which is exactly the same as the desktop app. So let's go ahead and create a full OTT setup, and we'll call this S3 bubble 2021, and we'll put in sudo. Okay, and for the region we're going to be in Virginia, and here's where you can set a storage amount of days. So basically we set this up. This is quite complex, we'll touch on it in future tutorials, but it simply means that your storage bucket will move your storage items to a different class of Glacier, which will just save you money, okay, if you're uploading like gigs upon gigs of files, okay, but that's not needed unless you're not doing that currently. So let's click setup. So what is this doing? It's creating a storage bucket or folder, however you want to call it, and then it's creating a delivery bucket / folder. Okay, so the storage bucket is where our file is going to be stored, and the delivery bucket is where we're going to be delivering the media with CloudFront. Exactly how the desktop app worked, but we're going to doing it all through AWS. Okay, so it's gone off and it's created our storage bucket, and we've got our delivery bucket. So it creates two buckets now. Okay, so what we can do is we can go into our bucket, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a video from the desktop. Okay, and it's uploading here. Do not use this to upload gigs upon gigs of videos. It won't work. It only works up to 50 meg. If you want to use the uploader, click upload and log into AWS, and this will take you to the AWS loader. Actually, while that's happening, I'm just going to head over to AWS, and then what we'll do is, if we just go over to the actual S3 service, we can see how everything's getting populated in S3. So we're going to go over to the S3 service. Okay, this will be your Amazon account. And if you look under buckets, you can see we've got our desktop bucket and we've got a storage bucket here. So if we go into the storage bucket, you can see that our file is uploaded here. So if you wanted to upload your files, you can upload them all through this uploader. Definitely do that. Don't use our uploader. It's simply just to drag files in and for demo testing, okay? But our file has been uploaded here. So what we can do now is we can do pretty much what the desktop app is doing, but we're going to encode it for HLS, okay? So we go ahead, go through the settings. Here is where you can enter your DRM URL like we did in the desktop app. All works exactly the same, so we're just going to skip that for now for this one. Here you can trim a section of your video if needed, advertising, and here's where we select our bucket. Okay, so we're going to select the delivery bucket because we're going from our storage bucket. We've stored this file to a delivery bucket, and the output folder can be like we did with the desktop app, but I'm just going to use a random ID, and we'll select our CloudFront distribution, which is set up when we did the setup. Now when it comes to templates, there's a lot of different templates set up here, but you can use the cost saving template, which just does a kind of HLS setup like the desktop app, and then you can go ahead and submit, and then we can go to view the player, to view the job, sorry. And now what this is doing exactly what the desktop app is doing, but it's doing it in the cloud. Okay, so it's encoding your video, and if you set up DRM, it will be encrypting it, and then it's going to output the video then to your other bucket, to your delivery bucket. But what we can do is we'll give this a second to run and progress. If we head over to the theme again, and I'll just create some new content, and what we'll type in is AWS encoder demo channel, okay, landscape image, any one of these, and then we can go to movies, examples, and what we can do is if we go back to S3 bubble and then run a refresh, you see it's complete. Copy the code, paste it in here, generates the code for us. So it doesn't generate a BIF when you're doing it through AWS. You have to download that through the download our BIF app. Let's go ahead and open, and you'll see that it's playing our video. Okay, so that's how we've done it all directly through AWS. Okay, we haven't used the desktop app for this. Now if you're doing like feature length huge movies, then we suggest using the AWS service to do that. But if you're doing quick tutorials, the desktop app is perfect for that. Okay. Now what you can do, and what we'll be touching on, not in the next tutorial but in future tutorials, is actually DRM. So we'll be doing Hollywood kind of level DRM, but that gets really complex. We'll be doing fair play, wide fine, and play ready. But we're done for the AWS and content tutorials for now, and we're going to move on to setting up the theme, creating a domain name, and templating the theme, etc.